Hey everybody. So, like, for those of us that are aware that, so some of us, I don't know how I know that. There are literally malevolent aliens that are in league with certain human beings, certain families, and certain human beings, within the agenda to, first they have to destroy the human will. First they have to get us behaving and acting like something other than a human being, which is like exactly what they want. Because when they get us away from acting in that human, energetic frequency, that good divine natured way, which is how I believe we were originally designed to be. When they get us not acting that way, we are malleable, we're bendable, we're movable. They can turn us and change us into things that they want, things that suit their fucking agenda and not on ours. That they're changing us so that our agenda then becomes their agenda, and then us and them become one, and they are able to use us to perpetuate their existence, so they can continue living and using human beings as fucking like a parasite. We would be the host, and they are feeding off of us. They are the parasite, and they are living off of us and allowing to continue to live from us. At least for the time being, until we reach a point where we're not going to be able to procreate them anymore, and then we'll be in a similar situation as them. But we're not there. Right now, we're at a point where we're at crossroads. And Trump, like, if I were him, I'd just go fall in, dude. Like, you got, about a month until the election? Like, I've been waiting for this to happen for a very long time, but, like, now seems like a good time to just fucking go, balls to the wall on the truth. Like, just go into it, man. Like, talk about how there are literally extraterrestrial aliens that are in league with certain families which have been perpetuating evilness on the planet, all over the planet, and especially here in America, and especially in the last 50 years or so, however long. I feel like it's definitely, like, intensified the past 50 years or so. It's continuing to intensify as the years go on, but it's especially started after World War II. Shit really started to change, in my opinion, or maybe even before that, but the last 100 years especially, things have gotten, the infiltration has just continued to grow, and now we're at a point where, like, our FBI has been compromised, CIA is now murdering journalists. Like, it's pretty fucking evil. The FEMA is now not even really doing, in my opinion, they're taking on the job of immigration, when they should be ready with ample storage and supplies and all these types of things for hurricanes, but instead they're not, because they've been spending their money on migrants, which, if you look into it, looks like it could be a setup to help get foreign invaders in the country, in particular key spots all over the country, and get them ready so that when the time is ripe for some type of a mass catastrophe, that they will be in positions to just make that catastrophe that much more worse. And in doing so, it's going to perpetuate that much more chaos, which the evil fucking aliens feed off of, like, because that's their fuel is our fear. So the more fear, the more hate, the more low vibrational energies that we can all emit, the better off they are. So again, if I was Trump, I would just go into, that's their whole MO, is to do that. But then also, they also have that other hand that's going to appear as the savior. So they're going to say all the good and nice things that we want to hear in times of tragedy. But it's important to remember who is saying those things and where they come from and what they truly stand for. Like, are those people, were they also the perpetrators of this catastrophe? Or are they actually ones trying to do some good and trying to steer people the right way? We look to the fruits of their past. What have they done? Like, what got them to where they're at? Like, what are their true motives? So it's the people that are pretending to be saviors are actually the perpetrators, who are just trying to gain your attention and your trust so that they can continue to control you. That's what I would do if I was Trump, is just get into that. That's exactly why they don't want us to know about the hemp plant, because the hemp plant makes us independent from their fucked up infrastructure. That's why it's so powerful, it's so important, and it's really a game changer, because from the hemp plant, not only is it literally a literal solution physically, it gives people hope. Like, knowing that there's a plant that does so many things is inspiring. It gives people a reason. It's good information for them to learn. They can share it with others. They can talk about it. In a lot of states, they can grow it themselves. They can fuck around with it. They can experiment with it. There's tons of different business ideas that are all high vibrational in nature that can be spawned from this one plant. They don't want us to know about it because it threatens their pharmaceutical industry. It threatens their construction companies. It threatens the concrete industry, literally. It threatens the plastic industry. It threatens some of the biggest, no, not some, the biggest industries on the planet are threatened literally by the hemp plant, which they have known about for a very long time. They're choosing to not tell you about it. And actually, not only did they not tell you about it, they made up a bunch of bullshit about it to keep people from buying into it. And that's why it got outlawed back in the fucking 30s, or whenever it got outlawed, it's because they made up a bunch of lies, and they made a documentary called Reefer Madness to get everybody else scared about fucking weed. And in doing so, then they were able to pass a law that actually made it illegal until recently, which is why, you know, it's very good that it's been made illegal, and let's not squander this opportunity, and let's actually appreciate and cherish it and use it. But if we, you know, if we can't even talk about it, we're never going to be able to use it. So, but anyway, again, if I was Trump, I would just go into that, man, the truth about 9/11. Because in doing so, this is also a statement to the rest of the world. Like, as far as tensions with Iran and other Middle Eastern countries and other countries all over the world, like if we had a president that was like, yo, I'm going to just, like, kind of what Kennedy was about to do, you know, before they killed his ass, which you're going to have to take into consideration, But, I mean, if you wanted to really serve the people in the best way, this is what I would do, which is what I am doing. It's just I'm not on the public stage that Trump is at, so I don't have the type of effect that he has had. So I'm doing what I can with what I got, as I would go on there and I would share the evidence about 9/11, talk about how those two buildings were built to withstand planes being flown into them, exactly what happened, and how that the only way that those steel beams could have melted and fallen down like that is if there had been an explosive device with a certain, I mean, because like those steel beams were graded to withstand a fire at a certain temperature. So it would have to take an explosive that is able to burn at a high. The jet fuel does not burn at a high enough temperature, is my point being. Like, the amount of the temperature that comes from the fuel, from the fire, from the fuel of a jet is not high enough, is not strong enough, is not hot enough to burn the steel beams. Therefore, making that incident, it's a lie. That's not what took the buildings down. What took the buildings down were literally explosives planted inside the building. That's why the buildings fell down the ways they did. It's also why Building 7 was blown the fuck up. It's because it was explosives were put inside of it, okay? And then through that, not only did it do other things, but that gave Bush the ammo he needed to start a war on terror and sending us over to Afghanistan. And then when we were in Afghanistan, then we started fucking putting our noses around, and we got a woof of WMDs in Iraq. So we went over, invaded Iraq, defeated them quickly, found out there were no WMDs. It's just like, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like, there's tons of reasons. Like, we were duped. We, the American people, were duped by our own government, is essentially the message we need to put out there. And we're now in the middle of trying to reorganize our government. But first, we got to get out the corruption. So it's like, for the time being, to let the rest of the world know that, yes, we did some fucked up shit. We were under lies. We were misguided by our own people that we put in powers to help lead us the right way. And unfortunately, they led us the wrong way. And that's why, you know, that we owe that Afghanistan, Iraq, we owe them. Like, we fucked shit up over there. We should really be trying to help rebuild their country and rejuvenate their country in a good way. Or, and better yet, probably it's just better just to give them money. Like, they're the ones we should be sending money to, because they're the ones we actually fucked up. Instead, we're sending money to places that we really don't, like, we don't owe them anything. Like, we're getting our hands dirty in it now, which is, developing all different types of ties and this and that. But, we really, we don't owe them anything. Like, we didn't go over there and invade them and do all these fucked up things. No, we're aiding other things that are already happening in that country for various reasons. But, like, again, going back to dealing with the things that are most dire, like, we're instead of solving the problem in Afghanistan, the Middle East, we're just jumping to another fucking problem. Like, that's our issues. Is, I mean, how can you expect for things to get done if you don't actually take the time to finish them the right way? And so, since we now know that whole thing was a setup, it was an inside job, and it was a bunch of bullshit, like, now we have to do the next part of that situation to make sure it's done the right way and help make amends. And in doing so, you'd show a different character of America. Like, the whole world would see the real goodness of America. They'd see that we're really doing what we can to weed out the bad guys in American governments and in other American parts of America and change it for good. And part of the way we're doing that is through the hemp plant. And we're going to stop destroying the planet. We're going to stop selling and offering and distributing goods that are bad for the rest of the world. And we're going to perpetuate and produce good stuff for the rest of the world. And then, you know, and in doing so, all of that is developing high vibrational currency, which gives us more of an allowance to other high vibrational beings, which means that, like, when the evil motherfuckers are going to, because in my opinion, they're going to come up and literally try to slaughter people on the planet. Like that, they're waiting to do that. But our energy has to get to a low enough level in order to allow them to do that. So that's why, again, they want us to, it's a win-win for them. Like the more fear that they perpetuate, the more we're crazy, the stronger they get, and the more allowance the ones below have to come up and eat us. But the higher vibrational we are, the more defense we have against the lower ones trying to come up and eat us, and the more help will be allowed to receive from those above. It's them above. That's our real defense. That's our real assurance, is gaining a good relationship with those above, so that when those below decide to come up and eat us, we'll have extraterrestrial beings, benevolent beings, to help stand in and defend us and help us. If we don't have that, we're pretty much fucked. So that's what I would do if I was Trump. I think America is ready. I mean, the UFO thing's already been well documented. I think most people probably believe in it. But beyond the UFO thing, like, get into that's what I would do. And I think that could also, because like young people are more aware of shit now. Like, it doesn't take, you know, like they're aware, with the internet, they can find things out, and there's just so much more talk and you know, communication exchanges going on all over the place on so many different topics. I feel like people are much more aware about the general statistics and the nature of reality and the things that have happened than they ever have been in the past. So I don't think it's that unreasonable for young people to, like, if they were to see Trump coming out and being like, yo, the towers were a mistake, like, we need to come together as humans, and like even like drop this animosity that these parties have against each other. Like, it's a time for humanity to come together. Like, we need to stop fighting with each other and work together. We have a threat here